Hey, 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 everyone. Happy Thursday and welcome to day 3. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you can hear me. I put in these earbuds because some of the contractors are out finishing up the outside of the house and they're washing the outside windows. And there's a guy right outside my window here. And so I put these in just in case they hammer or anything, nobody will hear. But let me know that you can hear me and let me know that you are live or that I am live and you are here. So give me a hashtag live. Tell me what state you're from. Let me see how many different states are going to be here today. Let me pull up to make sure that we are here. Um, so I hope you're having a good day, ready for the end of the week. I am. I'm ready. Okay, don't see me, don't see me. Okay, here we go. Hey, hey, hey. All right, good, good. You can hear me, good. Sometimes these are just lifesavers and sometimes they don't work at all. So I'm glad you're here. Let me know what state you're from. I know, Debbie, I know you're from Kansas. Christy, I can't remember. I'm thinking north somewhere, but let me know what state you're from and we are going to get started today. But remember, if you show up live every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you get the motivation guide. So let me know that you're live for sure. And then there's going to be some more fun announcements. So stay with me till the end because there's lots of fun stuff coming. So remember the homework. Don't forget about the bonuses. If you do the homework all 3 days and post there, then your name is going to be put in a lottery and you're going to win. One person's going to win $25 gift card from Amazon, a one-on-one consult with me, and the sleep hack guide. And you know, a lot of people have trouble with sleep as we get older and they think it doesn't matter, but it matters on everything. It matters on how you sleep, it matters on inflammation, it affects weight loss, everything matters. And so finding out what you can do to tweak your sleep is huge. So make sure that you do the homework, and it's going to be up until Sunday. I'm not picking a winner until probably Sunday evening. So you have till Sunday morning to get your homework posted. And remember, if you can't find it, just go to the units. It's right here underneath the banner. Click on the units and click on Healthy for the Holidays, and you will see the homework, the videos if you need to catch up on them, and then the homework. So post under the appropriate day's homework because I love going through them and giving you some tips, but also it gets the ball rolling. So think about all the time that we waste. We all do it. And we think, I'm going to start then. I need to do this. I want to do this, but we don't actually take the steps. The homework is going to give you little baby steps that you can take so that you start putting things into gear. And they're little, like, you know, the first day, find a little 20-minute something that you can do for exercise. And then yesterday, look ahead at the things that are coming up this week that are going to throw you off track, and then what can you do instead? So it's working with those things so that they aren't surprises anymore, so that you can actually deal with them. So do the homework today. It's going to be on self-care, and I'm going to tell you at the end why that's so important, because women especially will put self-care at the very end. It's that human giver syndrome that I talked about yesterday. And that's just because we have this idea in our head that we're supposed to be like that. But everybody's supposed to be like that. We're not supposed to carry the load for everyone else. We're all supposed to do that together. So listen in. So the wait list went out yesterday for the Master Series. You guys have, who are on the wait list until 4 o'clock, that you get first dibs. And remember, if you enroll in the first 24 hours, you're going to get that menopause course for free. That is 6 videos that go through the changes that happen at menopause, why they happen at menopause, and what we can do about them. And so that in itself is a bonus that can get you going. So remember, if you sign up for the Master Series before 4 o'clock today, you get that. And just a shout out to Debbie, Jessica, and Amy, who have already signed up for the Master Series. They are ready to go in January, and there's 7 spots left. So before I send the Master Series invite out to the public, you have until 4 o'clock to get that. In fact, let me just put that here in case you guys didn't get the email. That info is right there. I just posted in the comments. Christy, I was thinking you were from North Dakota because my husband is North Dakota. Let's see where else. South Africa. Good heavens. You're a long ways from us. Okay, awesome. Ontario, awesome. Love it, love it. Okay, so let's see. Big announcement at the end. And just stay tuned for that. But remember, in all of this, remember to show up for yourself because you wanted to move forward. And that's why you enrolled in this workshop. And so don't just listen and say, oh, yeah, those were good ideas. Do the steps to get the ball rolling. So think about when you go to a workshop. You hear these things and you say, yeah, that's great. And then you go home and you never put it into action because we forget something else replaces our focus. You know how that is? Something's always taking our focus. So make a point to get started now. Show up for yourself so that you can actually see some changes. And you know, I want to challenge you on your excuses. I make them too. That's where the plan B comes into effect because, you know, case in point, I was talking to a good friend of mine about a year ago about some changes and some additions that I wanted to make to my business. And so we were kind of brainstorming. And she was throwing out all of these ideas about things that I could do. And I was saying, no, I don't think that would work for me. I don't think so. And after about 10 minutes of this, she goes, Christy, you are dismissing every idea I have. And it was like, yeah, what was that about? And most of it was fear because I didn't know how to do the tech part. I didn't know, I couldn't see how it would all play out. I couldn't see how I would do it. And I know you're probably feeling the same. You want to make health changes, but fear takes over. And those excuses start popping up like, well, I don't have time and I don't know if it would work anyway. And I've tried it before and I couldn't stick with it or whatever. So fear comes in and keeps us from moving forward. So I want to challenge you on that because that's what keeps us that's what keeps us stuck, really. That's what keeps us from moving forward. So challenge your own excuses and just know that whatever changes you make, you do it for the right reason. However you're eating, however you're exercising, however you're structuring your day so that you have time for you, make sure you're not doing it out of guilt. Make sure you're not doing it because someone else expects you to. Do it for the right reasons. Eat in a way that makes you feel good. Exercise in a way that makes you feel good. And that's what we're going to talk about today, to make sure that you have the right thing. So let's get started. Let's talk about exercise. The thing is, exercise, you know, we have to change our exercise as we age because we change as we age. And I hear it all the time, and I know you've said it, I've said it. My metabolism, something happened to my metabolism after 40. I don't know what happened. And you know, my kids are noticing that. My kids are in their mid 30s, and it's like, man, I gotta watch it so much closer now than I used to. Yep. And what happens, we have hormone changes, definitely. We're not as active most of the time because by this phase in our life, we all have sit down jobs most of the time. But also, we lose muscle. After about our mid 30s, we start to lose muscle. And muscle is our engine. Muscle is what burns calories. And so, if we are losing muscle, we are burning less calories. That's what happens at age 40. It starts to catch up with us at age 40. So just think of if every pound of muscle burns about 50 calories a day just being on your body to sustain itself. It takes about 50 calories a day. So let's say by age 40, 50, 60, you've lost 3 or 4 pounds of muscle. So all of a sudden you are burning about 200 calories less every day. And so unless you eat 200 calories less, you're going to gain weight. And none of us wants to eat 200 calories less. So what do? We increase muscle, we add muscle, and that's why exercise is so important. Exercise, especially strength training, increases that muscle mass so that we burn more, so that regardless of menopause, regardless of hormones, our metabolism stays pumped up. And so that's, you know, when some of you are saying you feel lazy or you don't feel motivated, think of adding muscle and boosting your metabolism. That should get you motivated because that's not only going to change how you feel and your weight loss, it's going to change how you function. So we do change as we age, but also consistency is so much more important. So, back in the day, you maybe could have exercised 2 or 3 times a week and had great results. Not now. We have to be more consistent. You might do 3 times a week, but you can't do 3 times a week on and then 3 times a week off and expect to get results. It has to be consistent because it takes longer to develop that muscle and it takes longer to get the ball rolling. So make sure that you have a plan that is comfortable enough to do forever, that you can keep doing it week after week after week. Because if it's so strict and stringent that you're barely making it and then something happens and you don't get it done for a week, then you're not going to get results. So consistency is super crucial. So let me talk as a nurse here. Exercise, regardless of metabolism, exercise is super important for blood sugar control. And most of us, as we get older, blood sugar gets a little more kind of out of whack. And so to keep that under control, to keep it from being a pre-diabetic state, we got to exercise. It helps with heart disease. It helps with mood. Above all, it helps with mood. It helps with mental health. It helps with cognitive function. And so if nothing else, that should motivate us. But also it keeps us stable. It helps our stability. It helps our balance. And one of the main reasons that women break their hips in their 60s and 70s is because they have lost the muscle that maintains their balance. And we don't want to be that lady that falls down on the floor and then can't get up. We look at that as an older lady, but a lot of us are getting 50s and 60s, and that could happen to us. And the crazy thing with broken hips, it's hard to recover from them. There's always more problems that come after a broken hip. And so if we maintain our muscle mass, if we add muscle mass and keep our core strong, which is our front, our back, our glutes, our thighs, if we keep that strong, then we might trip, but we're going to catch ourselves. We're not going to lose our balance. And so not only does exercise help our function or help our metabolism, it helps us stay functional. It helps us be able to get down on the floor and play with a kid and then get right back up instead of crawling over to a couch to pull ourselves back up, and that's a real thing. I've had women say that's their main goal, is to be able to get up off the floor. That's a thing. And if we lose our strength and our flexibility, we can't do that. So how do you do that? What's important? First of all, strength training is essential because, like I said, we lose muscle. And so if you can do some strength training at least 3 times a week, then that's going to help. Now, maybe more is better, but you want to do at least twice a week. 3 times you will still gain muscle. I think twice a week I've read that you gain incrementally, but you for sure don't lose muscle. But 3 times a week you gain a little bit, 4 times a week even better. And so what I like to do is cardio that includes strength, or maybe strength that is intense enough that it's cardio also, because then I get them done all at once. So you want to do strength training. And that means that you are using your body weight or a resistance band or weights or a machine or something that you are extending the muscle and contracting the muscle enough to take it to fatigue. That's going to tear the muscle down. And then as you rest and eat good, it's going to build it back up and you're going to add muscle. So that's super important. Now, if all you do is strength training, you're probably going to gain a little fat, because we also need to do the cardio, because cardio burns fat. And so just to balance it all out, we need to do the cardio for our heart health, but also we need it for fat burning. And so, maybe you're walking, maybe you've been walking on a treadmill, or maybe you've been walking with your women friends, regularly, and you're not seeing results. I've had clients who say, I've been walking consistently for a year and I have not seen any changes. It's probably because you're not going intense enough. We get to a point where our bodies are comfortable. And when you start out, it might feel intense, but then your body adapts, you get a little more fit, and it becomes comfortable. And comfortable is good for cardiovascular health, but it's not going to boost your metabolism enough to burn fat. And so just ask yourself these questions. Am I going fast enough so that when I talk, I feel breathy? So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is I'm sitting here doing nothing right now. 10 is I'm sprinting and I can hardly breathe. You want to be about a 7. So you want to be at a point where you think, I would really like to stop right now, but I can keep going. It is possible for me to keep going. That's a good gauge. Another gauge is if you were talking to someone, you would have to stop and take a breath every 3 or 4 words to be able to say what you need to say and still walk. Because if you're talking like I'm talking right now without taking a breath the whole time, you're not going fast enough. And if you're out walking with friends, it's easy to slow down enough so that you can really get into a conversation, but that's actually hurting you as far as the fat burning goes. So if you've been walking for a while, reevaluate the pace. And it may be that you need to go faster. It may be that you can take a hilly route that has intervals, that HIIT training. Science is showing that that is so much more effective than long-term cardio. So instead of walking for an hour at a moderate pace, if you could do 30 minutes and have those high intensity intervals in it, like a hill, or maybe you're just making yourself walk fast, or maybe you set your treadmill to have little speed changes, then you're going to get better results. And so that's the good news. We don't have to spend hours exercising. We can have a short workout that is effective. It could include strength training. It could include interval training, that high intensive intervals. It can include some flexibility work and be cardio all in one in 30 minutes if you do the right program. But what I've done online programs for years because I don't want to make up what I have to do next, because that is too dependent on how I feel. And so it's too easy to say, oh, I know I need to do some intervals, but I'll do them tomorrow because I just don't feel like it today. But if you're following a program, you do it because it's next on the list. So you want to include the cardio and the strength, and then you want to also include the flexibility, because if we're not stretching ourselves out, and I have noticed this, the older I get, the more important that is, the more we hurt. And so, doing something yoga, some kind of extra stretching, some kind of extra foam rolling, taking a day off just to do stretching, it's not going to put you behind. It's actually going to make you more fit, because if we don't allow that stretching, we don't allow our muscles to rest and recuperate, they're not going to build. And so a lot of times women will say, oh, I can't take a day off. I'm afraid that I'll lose momentum or I'll lose progress. You won't. You'll actually get more progress. And so having that rest day or having a yoga day or two in with your routine is really important. Now let's talk about impact a little bit. Let me see if you guys have questions at all. I don't see any. Let's see here. Hi, Denise. Hey, Priscilla. I'm here but can't hear you and comment at the same time. Oh, but you can hear me when you're not commenting, right? Hey, Shelly. Hey, Gail. Hey, Julie. All right, so let's talk about impact. Let's talk about changes as we get older. That was hard for me. When I was used to doing jumping jacks, and then I started doing jumping jacks probably, I'm 61 now, so probably mid upper 50s, 58, 58-ish, I started noticing like, oh, wow, that hurts. So it hurt when I did jumping jacks. My knees didn't like the impact. So the burpee jumps that maybe I used to be able to do, or the squat jumps that I used to be able to do, all of a sudden that hurt my knees. Or I felt like my whole inside organs were going to fall out. And that didn't used to be 5 years ago. And so it was hard for me to start making those modifications because I felt like I wasn't working hard enough. I felt like I was kind of being a wimp, and I felt super old. I felt like, I felt like I looked like my mom working out. And ladies, that's just, we're going to get there. We are going to get there someday where we have to change it up so we can't do the things we did in our 30s. But here's the thing that we need to listen to. If we don't listen to our bodies and what hurts, we are not going to make progress. And so we're going to be hurting ourselves without getting the progress that we want. And, if you guys follow me at all on social media, I had to have a really heart to heart with myself because I was hurting. Part of it was COVID, not being able to get my massages or chiropractic. I couldn't go to hot yoga. Part of it was moving, lots of, squatting, lifting, carrying boxes, twisting, walking on hard surfaces. And all of a sudden, this sciatic pain would not go away. and it was waking me up at night. It was keeping me awake at night. It was making me hurt all day. And in my head was like, this has got to change. This has got to change. But I wouldn't sit down and make a plan. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I know we all get into that, like, I got to change, but we don't change. So finally I said, I need to figure out and make a plan what I'm going to do. Instead of saying I'm going to stretch more, I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. So this was like a week ago. I started doing an extra 20, 30 minutes of yoga after my workout, taking out all of the impact. So no jumping, even maybe a little less cardio for the last week or so. 4 days in, and I already notice a difference. I already feel better. So we have to honor where we are, or we are not going to make progress. And so, it comes back to when staying the same is more comfortable than changing, we're always going to stay the same. But if staying the same becomes so much harder than changing, that's when we're going to change. That's where I was at that point, where staying the same and hurting like this every day, hurting, part of it was because I sit a lot, hurting when I sit, hurting when I sleep, hurting when I work out, that has got to change. And that made me say, okay, I'm going to allow the extra time. I'm going to schedule it in. I'm going to figure out what I need to do, and I'm going to do it. That made me change. So if you are at a point where staying the same is not acceptable anymore, that's when you're going to change. And that's what the Master Series is for, to help you move forward on that. So let me put that in here again. Because if you have been dithering for the past 3 or 4 months, staying the same, making excuses and saying, I'm going to change later. I've got to do this. I've got to eat better, but this isn't working. I've got to exercise, but this isn't working. When that becomes too uncomfortable to stay with, that's when you're going to make a change. And so don't keep procrastinating. If you're ready for that change, step up and make the change, because that's going to make a huge difference. So we need the flexibility, we need the strength training, we need the cardio. And like I said, adjust it to fit your needs. As long as you are exerted, you're going to make progress. Even though it may not be what you used to do, as long as you're exerted, you're going to feel a difference. And as we get older, we need to take out the impact. We need to for sure include the flexibility. We need more recovery time. I've noticed that even after a kind of intense cardio, it used to be I could pick right up with my video. I might have to pause it an extra 15 seconds. I've just noticed as I get older, I need more recovery time. And I remember reading that when I was in my 40s, and I thought, no, sir. Well, in your 60s, you do. And the same with, fast twitch muscles. So things that make you go fast, like I used to be able to run in place pretty fast or do a burpee pretty fast. I can't anymore. So that's part of the change in the fast twitch and the slow twitch muscles. So bottom line is we change. We change as we get older. And if we want to keep up with things, we got to change with those changes. We got to be flexible enough to say, okay, this isn't going to work anymore. So what will work? What can I do instead? And so, I guess allowing ourselves to do that is really important. So just to kind of give you an overview, you should be doing some kind of moderate aerobic activity, cardiovascular activity, for at least 30 minutes every day, especially if you sit a lot. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do that in addition to everything else, because some programs put that all together, but at least 30 minutes of cardio every day. You need to do strength training, all muscle groups, 2 to 3 times a week. And you need to be doing some kind of balance or stretching at least 2 times a week. So that gives you 5, 6 days that you might be working out for 30 minutes, but it's only 30 minutes. And you could combine all of those together. But just make sure that you include all of that, because once we start leaving it out, then we get unbalanced. And in order to make the best progress, we need to be balanced, and we need to have that nutrition on point. So, when you look back at what we've talked about these last few days, making time for it, challenging your excuses, getting your nutrition spot on, or at least 70% spot on, and then getting your exercise in the right way. So if what you're doing is not giving you results, you got to do something different. You're going to have to change it so that's a little bit different. These washing windows right here. He's peeking at me. All right, so, but you have to want to do it. That's the thing. You have to want to do it. But I want you to think about something. Instead of saying, I don't have time, I'm not motivated, I don't have the energy, I'm too tired, say this instead. My overall health and functionality is not that important to me. I'd rather just sit on the couch. Feeling my best isn't really important to me. I'd rather just sit on the couch. Because when we change it like that, it's like, whoa, well, that's not true. But when we say I don't have time and I'm not motivated, that feels true. But when we start saying, me being able to function and stay strong isn't that important to me, then that kind of hits home. And it's like, well, that's not true. So just change how you start talking to yourself. So, what questions do you guys have? Yeah, validating that with our muscles. We need muscle. If we don't have muscle, ladies, our metabolism is not going to be there, and neither is our function. I don't know about you, but one reason my grandkids love me is because I play with them. I don't sit on the side and watch. I want to chase them. I want to lift them up. I want to get on the floor and crawl around after them. And so if we want to be able to live our lives like we want to live our lives, that's really important. So I want to bring up, let me see if I can get to my page here and still keep you guys on. Because I want to talk about the reasons that get in the way that you told me this morning on exercise. Okay, what keeps you from exercising regularly? Let's talk about this. If I can bring it up. Okay, so it's last on the list. Yeah, we are used to putting ourselves last on the list, but seriously, if you are always being last on your list, really think about that human giver syndrome and think about, is it true? Like, do you really have to always be last, or are you just choosing that? And if you're choosing that, why are you choosing that? I had someone challenge me once because I was doing something for my kids over and over. And he goes, Christy, why do you always feel like you have to be the hero? No, he goes, why do you feel like you always have to rescue your kids? And I got to thinking about that. And I said, because I want to be the hero. So I think a lot of us put ourselves last because we like the affirmation we get. We like the feeling of, oh, look what I just did for them. But let's turn that on ourselves too. Look what I just did for me. Look how important I am. That is not selfish. That is essential. So being tired and emotionally drained from work. So again, good nutrition, good exercise, movement, stretching, that's all going to help our energy so that we can last longer and not be just totally dead at the end of the day. Energy, putting other things first, not sticking with it long enough to be a habit. That's crucial, and that's where the consistency comes in. So yeah, we have to schedule it in. And if we're not sticking with something long enough for it to become a habit, that means we have to write it into our schedules, set reminders on our phones, do whatever it takes so that it's always front of mind. Laziness, yeah, it's easier to sit on the couch, definitely, than to move, at least at first. But a lot of times if you tell yourself, I'm just going to get up and work out for 5 minutes and then I can quit. That's easier to get in our head. 5 minutes, how hard is that? And usually within 5 minutes, you feel completely different and you're ready to go. So think about that. I've tried exercising first thing in the morning. There's truth to that, So sometimes when people work out first thing in the morning, I know for me, if I work out at 5 o'clock now, 5 o'clock a.m., I'm not going to have a very good workout. My body isn't warmed up. I'm not fueled. I'm not going to have a good workout. I could do it when I was 40. I could even probably do it when I was 50, but I can't do it now. So if mornings make you too tired to work out, then figure out a lunchtime or figure out right after work or whatever. And the right after work thing, yeah, you're going to be tired, but as soon as you work out, you're not. So just kind of keep that in your mind. Tired. That's what a lot of people say. Time and planning, definitely planning, fatigue, motivation. Yeah. So we talked about that on day one. Lazy and distraction. Yeah. So see, we get distracted because there's so many things needing our time and family here. And so that's why we have got to schedule it so that we're not so distracted. Procrastination, time, lack of machine in my house. Okay, guys, we always have to be pivoting. If COVID has taught us nothing else, we have to pivot. And so if your machine broke, what can you do at home? There's tons of videos. I partner with Beachbody. I have done Beachbody workouts for 13 or 14 years. And before that, I did those old firm videos because if I didn't have something I could do at home, then it probably wasn't going to happen because I didn't have time to leave and go work out and come back. So start pivoting like, darn, this machine broke. What can I do now? Darn, I can't, get up in the morning anymore. What can I do now? So it's always pivoting so that we stay consistent. Physical limitations. Yeah. That is a thing. And so modifying, finding different ways to do things, allowing stretching so that, you don't hurt when you work out. That's another thing we get into in the Master Series in pretty much detail, because working around that is crucial. Shauna, you said me. Yep. Yeah, we get in our own way. Stay strong and then get discouraged and think to myself, why? I get in my own way. Exactly. We get in our own way. So yeah, so all of those things get in our way. So we have to look at our own excuses again. How important is it? How much do we want to change that? How uncomfortable are we staying the same? And it comes back to that payoff that we talked about. The payoff has to be worth it. For you to get up off the couch when you're tired, when it feels so much better to sit on the couch, the payoff has to be worth it. So working out and seeing results and getting stronger and having a higher metabolism and feeling more toned and feeling more functional, that's the payoff. And so we have to look ahead. We have to look past the present moment, and keep working towards that. All right, what else do I want to say here? And I think, we have to know ourselves. What are we most likely to follow through on? And again, that's why we want to start small until we develop some good habits. If you know that you're not going to stick with something without accountability, then find an accountability buddy, and I can help you with that too. I have other groups just for accountability. And so if you know that you're not going to do something super extreme, then don't do something super extreme. If you know that you like to have carbohydrates, starchy carbohydrates, bread or pizza in your life, don't follow a really rigid meal plan that has no bread in it. You have to know yourself and know what you're willing to do to feel the way you want to feel. And you have to balance the payoff for that. So exercise is a form of self-care, right? But let's talk about other options. Again, on self-care, I want you to change the wording that you say. So instead of saying, I don't have time, or I'm getting older, or I can't control my metabolism, menopause really made things go to hell for me. Instead of saying words like that, say, I am making time for what's important to me. I am in control of my metabolism. I am not going to get old and frail. Say more proactive words, because it makes a difference, guys. It seems like it's just words, but it makes a difference. And so if the words that you have going in your head is, I can't, I'm too tired, I never stick with this, it's impossible at my age, blah, 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 then you're going to get stuck there. But if you can start saying, I'm taking charge right now. I am a person who is interested in health. I am eating for health. I am exercising to be stronger. I am controlling my metabolism. If you start saying things like that in a more proactive way, things will change. So that's number one with self-care. Watch your words. It will change your thoughts, and we all know thoughts change our actions. Number two, stress and inflammation are one of the biggest causes of every disease. Every disease starts with inflammation, and stress causes inflammation. Cortisol causes inflammation. And so if we don't do some self-care, then we're always going to be burnt out and tired and worn out and inflamed and hurting and stressed. And so self-care isn't selfish. Self-care is crucial for long-term health, for taking care of ourselves. We have to do that. And so, learning how to deal with stress so that you don't have inflammation is huge. I was talking to my naturopath about digestive stuff and about my gut health. And, she was saying, think about when you eat, like, how stressed are you? Are you feeling Are you worrying about things? Are you working while you eat? She goes, all of that affects digestion, which affects our gut health. It's like, wow. I mean, stress is pervasive. It affects everything. And so doing that self-care to get through that stress cycle, we're always going to have stress. We can't say I'm not going to have stress. Always getting through that stress cycle so that we complete it and get over the edge there is crucial so that we don't end up completely inflamed where it stays in our body. I mean, studies are showing that stress doesn't leave your body unless you do something about it. So it stays, and it affects your organs, it affects your hormones, it affects everything. So one of the ways to get through that stress cycle is exercise. Other things are sleep. And I know I said this before, but sleep is crucial for muscle repair. It's crucial for brain health. It's crucial for everything. And so allowing yourself to sleep can be good self-care. Having downtime, doing things that you like. And yes, Netflix and watching something you enjoy can be a stress release if you don't have it become excessive, we get into stress management a lot in the master series, because other things, that are important that you can start doing is a good belly laugh, a good cry, um, being creative, a 20-second hug. Those are all things that take us from this stress cycle through the cycle to the other side. So that is very crucial. Another thing of self-care is personal development, reading. I learned so much from reading things that give me ideas that I can apply to myself. It's amazing. And so I just read about 10 minutes a day on some book. And so just some good suggestions. The book I'm reading now is called Burnout: Getting Through the Stress Cycle, by Emily and Amelia Nagoski, Nagoski. Daring Greatly and the Gifts of Imperfection are great, by Brene Brown. Anything by Brene Brown is amazing. She has a great podcast, Unlocking Us. You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Good if you're working on things with self-confidence. But if you can get that into your morning routine, we talked about having a morning routine and how much easier it is to stay structured. If you can get that personal development and some self-care into a morning routine, your day will go so much better. So, read 10 minutes, meditate for 10 minutes, stretch for 10 minutes, just do something. Start a gratitude practice for 10 minutes, something that starts you off on a positive note will carry through your day. And then you will be able to feel like you have more control over your life, because you'll be doing some things and you'll have a positive vision of your life. Without self-care, we burn out. And, so we have to schedule it into our life. And so don't feel like it's selfish. It is crucial to doing that. And I know we're brought up with that idea that it's selfish, but it's not. It's not. It's crucial to being a healthy woman. All right. So any questions on that? Just put them down here. I know it takes a while to pop up sometime. I want to check here. And then the big announcement, I want to tell you all about the Master Series. So again, for those of you on the wait list, you have an hour and a half actually to sign up and still get that menopause bonus, that menopause course bonus. And then after that, the invitation, the open for enrollment, is going out to my whole audience. So what do we cover there? The steps that we did in the homework are crucial to starting, but then sticking with them. I talked about the middle part being the hardest part. Starting isn't always hard. Sticking with it is always hard. And I've talked to women who say, oh yeah, I started this and I got good results and now I'm not getting any results. It's because you're in the middle part. You're in the hard part. And so maneuvering through that, figuring out what to do when it gets hard, what to do when you get stuck, that's what's crucial. And that's what we do in the Master Series. So there's 4 different modules, 4 different weeks. We have a group call every week where we can dig in this and go through your issues. So you have time on the group call to really ask your questions, to look at what you're doing, and to deal with that. But the first week, we get into motivation and staying consistent, the strategies you need to stay motivated. You have modules that go over that, where you're working on that. I'm instructing you on that, and then we deal with it on the call. willpower versus discipline, how to get those habits starting, dealing with your own excuses. So we start out with that, and then we get into the nutrition plan, and I help you decide what are the right portions for you with, you know, your weight, your goals, your activity, your age, all of that. What do you need to get the most from a nutrition plan that is comfortable enough that you can do forever? I'm not going to put you on some rigid plan that you can't stick with. It's going to be balanced so that your muscles and your body gets nourished and fueled in a way that you feel good. It's going to be flexible enough that you can allow for treats and that you have energy. You're not going to feel deprived and worn out. But I'm going to help you figure out what's best for you. We're going to look at label reading. We're going to look at allowing for splurges like holidays. We're going to look at, you get a 5-day clean eating meal plan so that you can have something to follow if you need some help getting started. But basically, you're going to have the skeleton of what to eat, you know, how to plug things in so that you're the right portions for your goals. We're going to talk about exercise. So if you are exercising now, how do you need to tweak it so that you can keep moving forward, so that you can keep getting results? If you get stuck, if you need to modify, if you need a specific stretch, if you need a form check, some help with form, what does that involve so that you can keep moving through your workout and getting the best results? You also have access to a 7-day program, a 7-day, 30-minute program that you could do every day. Just turn it on, follow it, and within a week you would be feeling different because it would have the cardio, it would have the strength, and it would have the flexibility. And so it would have it all put together so that you could do that and you could just repeat it over and over for a while if you wanted, but it would get you started. So if you can't get to the gym, if you don't have a machine to use at home, or you are just making up your own thing and you're not getting results, that's something you can do in 30 minutes. So it would save you travel time to a gym. It would save you, you could do it at 5 a.m., you could do it at noon, you could do it at 8 p.m. You could do it when it works with your schedule. We're going to talk about when life happens. So starting something and then getting stuck, what happens? So what happens when you tend to stress eat? How do you handle that? What do you do with sugar cravings? How do you help your sleep? What are some things you can do to help with sleep? What do you do when there are relapses? How do you change your frame of mind so that you don't feel like you've blown it and you're going to take a week off now because you've blown it? How do we deal with those things? And then there's bonus material that goes over mindset, self-confidence, self-compassion, and then gut health, because all of that works together to get you the results that you want. So basically, you know, you have access to those modules. You have access to the 5-day eating plan so that you can get started on that. And it just gives you the tools to start going so that you know what to do, but then you have those weekly check-ins. So it's 4 weekly calls. It's a 4-week course. Usually the calls are about an hour, depending on how many people on. But again, that's why I'm only taking 10 people, because I don't want it to be so many people that we can't get to your needs. And we will find a time that works for you. So I do a poll in the group to make sure that the people who really want to be on the calls can be on the calls. So again, let me put that up for you here. Master Series link. I'm going to open that up to the public. If you are on the wait list and you're thinking, I need this, get it now before I open it up to the public so you for sure get your spot. There's 7 spots left. All right. If you have questions on that, let me know. But for your homework for today, I want you to share one self-care activity that you can commit to in the next 3 days. It can't be exercise because we already talked about exercise on Monday or on Tuesday. Sleep, extra stretching, reading, meditating, massage, going out for some alone time by yourself. And it doesn't have to be more than 10 minutes. But what self-care activity will you commit to in the next 3 days? And when are you going to do it? So I want you to make that commitment now. So you have until Sunday. But make that commitment so you don't keep putting it off. So for those of you who say, someone always needs me, I don't have time, my family always needs me, Find something that would make you happy. And maybe it's going off by yourself and watching a show. I mean, I find it's really good self-care for me to go off by myself and watch Grey's Anatomy. I don't even care if anyone's with me. I just want to watch it. And so sometimes we want to just be by ourselves and watch something that we enjoy where we're not being interrupted. That's self-care. So figure out what you're going to do, share it under the day 3 homework, and when you're going to do it so that it is in your schedule, you've planned for it, and it's going to get done. Okay. So what other questions do you guys have? I love talking to you. I miss, I used to do one-on-one appointments, face-to-face appointments, and then I moved and then COVID happened, and I love this. So I'm glad you guys joined me. As a nurse, this is how I take care of people. I can't take care of them in the hospital anymore, but this is how I take care of people. So helping you be your best you and helping you get over the hurdles. And, I have learned that on my own. That's why I love personal development, because we all have those things that hold us back. We have those fears. We have those excuses. We have just that we don't know how. And so having someone help us, I appreciate that so much in my life, having someone help me, because I'm kind of a do it myself kind of person. Like I can figure it out, but if I can't, having someone help me, I appreciate that so much. And so I love helping you. If you are stuck and you're not making progress, I can help you. I've been doing this for 30 years. I can help you. I can help you figure out what's keeping you back, what you need to do, and how you need to move forward. And so if you are on a roll and you're seeing results, great. But ask yourself, if you're not, if you're stuck, how will you feel in March if you're at the exact same place? If you have not seen results in March, how will you feel? And so if you need help, look at that Master Series link, figure out if that would be a good fit for you, and let's talk. You can message me. We can get on a short phone call if you need, but make the change now so that you can start the year strong. You know exactly what to do, and you have the accountability to keep going. So, hey, Janice, thank you. All righty. I do not see any other questions. If you guys think of questions later, be sure to post them here, and be sure to let me know if you're live. I kind of remember everyone here, but if you didn't tell me you're live, be sure to, so that you qualify for that motivation guide, and do the homework, because the homework will get you in the drawing for the bonuses. So let me just give you another minute or two to ask a question. So for about 10 minutes of that, the guy was like 2 feet away from me on the other side of my window. So this is my office view, my window. So it's very fun. But yeah, he was right there washing the windows. So now I got to do the insides since he did the outside. That's going to be my activity for the next few days. All right, ladies, it's been wonderful. I love you. I love being able to interact with you. You make my day. Let me help you if you're stuck. Let's do this. Let's get over the hump. Check the Master Series. Check it now. You guys already, even if you're not on the wait list, I just posted the link. So it's going to go out to the rest of my people in an hour. So check it out. If it's something you are interested in, message me. Let's talk about it. Let's get you going and seeing success this next year. And feeling better. That's the main thing, feeling better. So thank you. You guys have a good day, and we will talk later.